Oh,
Oh, slipped on the bottom rope and still.
hey you guys, but yeah, I'm a little late. Sorry about that. I'm about 30 minutes late.
Just pencil away. Gable quickly now up to the top rope. Chad.
I had something to do, so yeah, I'm about 30 minutes late, but I'm here. And we're gonna watch Monday Night Raw. We're at the Chad Gable and Penta match. So yeah. I hope everybody had a great Mother's Day. So yeah. Nice moonsault by Chad Gable. So how is everybody doing tonight? Armbreaker by Penta. It's gonna be Armbreaker. Armbreaker by Penta. Ooh, Chad Gable got out of it. Ankle lock by Chad Gable. Chad Gable with the ankle lock. There is not gonna be any. Hey, Jax, how you doing, brother? How you doing, Jax? It's been a while. It's been a while. I could be better, but other than the pain, I'm good. Yeah, other than the pain, I'm good. Let me turn down the sound a little bit more on the TV. Oh boy. Mexican Destroyer. No, it's okay, Jack. It's okay, you know. It's okay. Oh, God. I'm choking. Yeah, I'm fine. I am fine. I always had the pain, so you know about my pain, Jack. So I don't have to explain it, but you already know. So I hope you had a happy Mother's Day, Jack. So how was your weekend, Jax? How was your weekend, buddy? Oh, that's great. That is great. We just had family dinner together. Yeah, we just had dinner. That's it. Me, my brother, my mom, my dad, my sister-in-law, and my niece. We just ordered food and we just spent the night together eating good food and talking. Oh God. Yeah, sorry about the cough, man. I got something. I got something kind of throat. I just ate a piece of pizza real fast. And I think it got stuck in my throat. So, but yeah. But yeah. So, are you guys excited about Wednesday? It's the scheduled release date. Hey, Caleb, how you doing? How was your weekend, Caleb? I hope you had a great Mother's Day too. So yeah, how is everybody doing? Jack said he's doing great. How about you, Caleb? I hope you're great too. Is there any games tonight? Is there any NBA games on tonight, Caleb? Any NBA? Um, yeah, I might do a schedule. I might do a video on the schedule for the Packers when it comes out. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna do. Nice. Oh wow, man, I'm happy for you, Caleb. I'm happy for you. Oh, Boston and New York. Oh, you know who I'm rooting for? I have to root for the Golden State Warriors. They're my team where I live, so I gotta represent the Golden State Warriors. Now, San Francisco Golden State Warriors. Anybody know if Golden State is any good this year? I haven't, I haven't, I haven't followed the Warriors this year. Oh, okay, so Steph is hurt. How bad is he hurt? How bad is it? How bad is the injury to Stephon Curry? Is he going to be back for next game, or is he going to be out for 2 games or 3 games? August 2nd and 3rd is SummerSlam, folks. SummerSlam at MetLife Stadium. Yeah, so Caleb, let me ask you, how much did the food cost at the game that you went to? I bet I bet it cost a lot of money for food at the stadium. So welcome, how is everybody doing? Let me see who's texting me. Oh, it's Kenton. Let me see what Kenton wants real quick. Okay, I'll let you in. All right, Kenton wants to join the live stream here. Let's let Kenton in. And let's see. Okay, let me send Kenton email real quick with the link. And here we go, Kenton. I sent it. Hey, Kenton, I sent the email. There you go. Kenton will be in shortly, so no worries. So yeah, Caleb, he's still there. Jax, he's still there. We're just waiting for Kenton because I just sent the thing. So yeah. Okay.
What's up, y'all? I'll be right back.
I just look at it. No, you'll be right back. Jeez. God, you believe this guy?
What? Unless you want to go to the bathroom with me, then.
You know what? No. On the other hand, yeah, turn it off. Turn it off.
See that? That's what
Turn
I thought.
it off. No, nobody
That's
wants
what I
to
thought.
see that. Nobody wants to see that. Or do you guys want to see it? I'm just joking. Yes. Yeah, so yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'll start an actual OnlyFans.
What? Okay, guys, we're still here. I was a little late for the beginning of the Monday Night Raw. I was at Costco with my family, so I missed about 30 minutes of Raw, but it was all talking by CM Punk. I heard, so it's all good. All good. What a match! Pat McAfee had a great match on Saturday. So yeah, if you like the Costco pizza, or you know what? I am not a big fan of the chicken bake, but I do love the hot dogs. And I do like the pepperoni pizza. But you know what? When I was in Korea, I went to the Costco in Korea. Oh my God, the food was way better than American food here. The hot dog tastes different. The hot dog is totally different. It is more flavorful. It has more flavor than here. The Indian graphic red tater. What do you mean about the NBA graphic rigged? What's so rigged about it? The New Day. I don't like that. I don't like the New Day. I don't know why they turned them into heels. Look at when going number. Who got the first pick? They won the draft lottery. Okay. Nice, nice. Yeah, how is that rigged though? I don't get it. How are you gonna say it's rigged? It just doesn't make sense, T-Rex. It can't be rigged. We're at commercial break again, guys. Commercial break. That's the 1.8. So it doesn't make it rigged. Team that just lost its best player had only a 1.8% chance of winning the lottery. Hey, Daniel. Caleb said the NBA had a weird history about the draft lotto. What do you mean by weird history with the draft lotto? What's wrong with it? Like, what's wrong with the draft lotto chances in the history? What's so weird about it? Yeah, you can go right ahead. I will put that link in the chat, Caleb. There's the link to the chat, Caleb. Because the Celtics drafted Larry Bird back in the day, and he wasn't even in that draft. Taterhead, what do you mean? What do you mean by that, Taterhead? How can somebody draft a player that was not in the draft? I don't get that. I don't get that. I do not get that at all. Taterhead. Alright, we are back from commercial break. So, that was okay.
Saturday's main event. Me and you. Good? We'll do this? I'm good, but not. I'm having a hard time trusting you. Fair enough. I can understand that because I had a hard time trusting you. You teamed with us at World Games. But I did. You know what? That worked out pretty well for us. Look, man, I'm not stupid. I know. You want to do things your way. You got your goals, you got your ambitions. I'm not that different than you. Yeah, I like to do things my way. I have my ambitions. Trust me, I have my ambitions. But the truth is, neither of us going to get anything done. Not with those guys standing. NBC Saturday night's main event. Meanwhile, the War Raiders of American
Saturday night. Let's hear LA agreed to part with Paul in the morning in team for the 26 point guard who would who served as the NBA commissioner vote the deal. Okay, yeah. What deal? Taylor, what's the deal, Taylor? Hey, Taylor, did you get the email or did you get the link or should I send it to your email address? I'll send it to your email, Caleb. Who joined? What happened to you, Caleb? No, Kenton? Alright, you'll be in 5 minutes. Okay, I'll be right here. I'll be right here. No. It's okay, Caleb. Don't worry about it, man. Don't worry about it.
All right. I was busy talking to somebody. Sorry.
Are you done?
Well, I didn't use the bathroom that long, but I was talking to somebody.
Okay. Yeah, Caleb will be on in about 5 minutes.
He's joining. Sweet.
Yeah, he wants to talk about the NBA.
And how unpredictable it is right now.
No, and the history of the lottery pick. Taylor had said that the lottery is rigged.
Was crazy. What?
The NBA draft is rigged for some reason. I don't know what Taylor.
It's not. It's the same. Jay, the NBA has the same type of thing with the NFL where it's like rigged, but the only difference is the NFL has it where no matter what the last team gets.
Wait. How is the draft rigged?
People think it's rigged because it's through a lottery system with balls, and we don't get to really see that, and it's through cards, and it's a percentage of like the last team. So like if you're in last place, you get like a higher percentage of having more balls in it, so you have a higher percentage of winning the pick, but it's not guaranteed. So then a lot of teams like tank, and there's just a lot of things that I'm also missing right now that play into it. But like certain teams won when like certain homegrown players like the Cavs and other things like that happen. So there's just a lot of quote unquote coincidences with it that aren't really.
Yeah. And the team that had the number one pick now traded the best player. They only have one ping pong ball. I mean, that's why they call it a lottery. You get lucky, right?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But it's just like one of those things that people talk about. But it's coincidentally like certain teams win multiple years in a row, certain players because it doesn't want like pan out, and depending on the team and the market, sometimes it does feel like the NBA is pushing the agenda for this team to get some noise or behind it to either save him or make it come back again. But the reason I don't believe that is because I feel like they would give the Bulls every first round pick.
I have an honest question for you.
Yeah.
In the NBA, they have a lottery draft, but why do they have a lottery draft? Why can't they draft it like hockey or football, where the team with the worst record gets to pick first? Why don't they just do that instead of putting?
Because in the NBA, there's a thing called tanking, where teams purposely play bad or don't try to win to get the pick.
Yeah, but they can do the same thing in football and hockey. They can tank.
I just feel like until those are all high action sports, even though it's scoring, I feel like with basketball, it's a lot worse to watch. So.
And Caleb said that was a good question. and he has three
I
good
mean,
answers for it.
I say to me, tanking just doesn't give the NBA money.
It looked like the Lions tanked that 1 year to get them good. Now it looks like the New Orleans Saints are going to tank this season so they can draft Archie Manning's grandson.
The NBA says this is pretty much just for better, higher competition, which they kind of have done. Like this is the most. Like even if people are trying to say it's heavy sided, it's not. Like teams are becoming better faster, and the landscape for it because of the playing tournament with now technically like 10 teams in the playoffs. It is different.
Okay.
Well, the thing is,
Hey,
hello. Hopefully the microphone's working here.
yeah, the mic is working.
Yeah.
All right. So what were you saying about the 10 basketball teams, Ken? Sorry, I came in midway is what you were saying.
Oh, I said because now there's like technically like 10 playoff games because of the play-in tournament. So it feels just like the competition is a lot more, I wouldn't say even keeled, but just more competitive.
Well, not only that, the long gripe for the NBA players for a long time, right, was that there was no real break in between the end of the season and the playoffs. And now there's motivation for teams to get a top 6 seed. So they do have that 5 to 6 day window to get right for the playoff series.
Yeah, that's another thing too. So like the NBA, I feel like has done it, but they've also done things to mess it up. The quote unquote second apron, I think, ruined everything in the feng shui of how the good part of the NBA was, and now it's made it harder for teams to do stuff, make moves, and now thing has become stagnant. Where now they want teams to build through the draft, and that wants teams to tank. That means teams want to tank again and all that stuff. So I don't know how, like, again, the rigging comes into it, but I just think the NBA just doesn't have a person, not an identity. There you go.
It's the fact of here's why people are saying the lottery is rigged. Since they changed the rules 5 or 6 years ago, no number one team has won the lottery. In fact, back-to-back years, the team that had the worst odds got the lowest possible odds that they could technically get in the fifth seed, where they completely fell out of the top 4 in general. So these fans of inept teams, if you will, are not very happy that Greg Popovich gets basically like another big swing at a top prospect with the number 2 overall pick.
Yeah, but like my question was, why are they doing the lottery draft? Why can't they just do by record of teams?
Well, the best idea I've heard for the NBA lottery or to fix the lottery is that they add a point system. So hear me out. Basically, once you are eliminated from playoff contention, you start a brand new season. And after you are eliminated, for each win, you get a certain amount of points. And so that's how your lottery odds would be calculated, by how many wins you get after you are eliminated, thus incentivizing the losing teams to win at least at some point in time during the season.
Yep, and to consider being competitive. Yeah, I've heard that one before, but I also don't remember where I've seen that one. Probably was just like an Instagram post, but
it might have. Let's be real. It's probably Bill Simmons. Bill Simmons probably had some weird thing that broke through the Twitter ether, and then it might have just got in our window somehow. I feel like that's where all crazy NBA conspiracy theories come from, because he's the same guy that came up with the Ewing theory. And I don't even like Bill Simmons that much. I want to be totally transparent.
I can't stand him either.
He's obnoxious, right?
It reminds me of the Stan Van Gundy's brother, too, like the Van Gundy brothers, whatever. I don't remember how to say their last name.
Jeff or Stan, which one?
Both. I can't stand them both.
I like Jeff when he was coaching the Magic in the late 2000s. That he was kind of fun, right?
I was like, the coaching one's better, but the one with the glasses and the one that's bald.
The one that's chubby or the one that's bald is the one that you have issues with?
The one that's bald with glasses is the one I have.
The one that looks like a librarian. Okay, cool. All right. Glad at least we have an understanding as to which Van Gundy brother you're talking about.
You guys are just talking about somebody.
It's easy for me because he's an asshole. You know how many times he's you know how many times he shit on the city of Milwaukee and he's barely visited here? Okay.
Hey, you got Charles Barkley saying good things about Milwaukee, so it counterbalances.
We had Carmelo Anthony and Bill Burr say something, all right? Bill Burr said Milwaukee's his favorite city, by the way, so I'll take that.
Shout out Bill Burr.
Yeah, so 4%.
Now, Jay, you asked why do people think the draft lottery is rigged? There's been there's been some weird stories throughout NBA history that don't quite make all the way sense. So Taterhead does ask a good question, which is if it wasn't rigged, why would they not choose the ping pong balls? That's a good question. I guess it's for security and transparency's sake, especially nowadays when people can do things like gamble on the NBA draft lottery. They just add some extra
So if you
layers,
can see
elements,
the
everything.
balls, some people might be able to count how many they're in there, and then blah 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 blah, and yeah, that's the reason why they don't do that.
Probably like counting cards, right? Like the counting card equivalent.
No, that's exactly the reason why.
Yeah,
because they used to, and one guy, he didn't get the team pick right, but he was crazily and I remember this because it's on YouTube too. I can find the video, but he counted how many balls were in the severe metal thing. And the NBA lost it after that. They're like, just because he just even the fact that he was able to count how many were in there, they're like, nope, never again. So, and then I'm pretty sure that's what considered the stock of like, oh, it's rigged, blah blah blah. I'm like, no, it's definitely security reasons. That's why you can't see certain things in like casinos and stuff.
If we want to go back, if we want to figure out where the rigged, story came from, we have to go back.
I was gonna say it was way before my time. I was way before my time.
All right. So TLDR, the origin story. Are either of you familiar with the reason why the actual reason why the draft lottery exists?
I do, but Jay 100%
probably doesn't. And it gets back to Jay's question about like why do they make this so difficult? So in the NFL, right? It's 11 guys on the field working together for a common goal, right? Indy 11, so soccer it's 11, right? The NBA, having a star matters because it compromises 1/5 of your team on the starting lineup, which is why teams are willing to completely bash their season to get it better. So in the early 80s, there was a dude named Ralph Sampson, who was the most unbelievable college player, and NBA owner Donald Sterling opened up and said, yeah, we're openly losing games so we can get Ralph Sampson, but this was the early 80s. How dare you talk about not winning NBA games? So he got fined, I think.
By the way, Donald Sterling, Jay, is one of the absolutely worst NBA owners of all time.
Worst human beings ever. Him and
he's a scumbag who like anybody can say anything about him and I wouldn't feel bad. Like you could say the most unhinged things and I would not feel bad.
All right, Jay. You've heard of Skid Row in Los Angeles, right? Of all the stories I can tell you about Donald Sterling, I guess this one surmises him the best. So right outside of Skid Row, there's this thing called Sterling Plaza. Donald Sterling, on top of owning this team, was a real estate magnate for a long time. And so he bought this big, huge building in the 80s or 90s, I want to say, with the thought of like making it an area, making like a building and all that. No, it's just his. This like 150 room building in the downtown area of Los Angeles where people are struggling to make, ends meet exists. And so the city's been trying to be like, hey, can we have if you're not doing anything with all the space, can we at least put some people in here? And he's like, lol, no way, repetitively. And fun fact, he is technically a 2-time recipient of the NAACP Man of the Year, Donald Sterling.
Wow.
Because he donated like $50,000 or something to the charity. Yeah, no, it's crazy dude. But anyways,
he doesn't like black people,
right? No, it's Jay. There's Jay and Kenton. He's a very interesting human being, and I guess I should be transparent. Jay did ask last time I was on what I'm working on, and I did make sure of a couple of things. And I guess to be honest, I am working on Tree's long sought, long after legacy of failure video about the Los Angeles Clippers. So if you want to know something about Sterling, I'm going to know some things about Sterling. Let's just leave that at that.
Yeah, he's a racist person.
He is not he's not even. I think to even just limit him and say he's a racist is bad because he was sexist, he was classist.
He's just not a good human being.
Yeah, like he just there's people, Jay, you're a positive dude who comes on here and talks about sports, right? You're nice to people in the chat. Imagine the antithesis of that. That's who Don Sterling is.
Oh, good God.
He was
it's
grumpy. He talked like this all the time. He never smiled.
That's
I'm not a
bad.
racist. I'm Donald Sterling. What are you talking about? Yeah. And he actually, the only reason why he had a job is because he technically countersued the only reason why he was able to have the Clippers so long is he technically almost lost being a Clippers owner like 2 years in, long story short. But he successfully countersued the NBA for $100 million when the NBA had like no money. And
Yeah, he was kind of. I always just
Yeah.
tell people he was holding the NBA hostage.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. Sorry. So Tater's right. Tater is bringing us back to center here because we're talking about rigged draft lotteries, not crazy Donald Sterling. Okay. All right. So, Derrick Rose grew up in Chicago. The Bulls were terrible, and the Bulls had just barely missed the lottery. The Bulls didn't even have a 1% chance to get hometown Derrick Rose. They had been awful since. Long story short, the Bulls had been terrible since Jordan had left. All of a sudden, they get the number 1 overall pick. Derrick Rose becomes an MVP. Rest in peace, those ankles and legs, dear God.
And knees, mostly his knees.
All of it. Just rest in peace. Derrick Rose literally gave us everything he could. Everything.
Also, Chicago for sucking. But that's just because of Milwaukee and Chicago rivalry.
Yeah, that whole rivalry, absolutely.
I kind of do like. If there's any Illinois team that I like, it is the Bulls. So
Chicago pizza's cool. But the main reason why, Jay, that people say the NBA draft lottery is rigged. So we talked about I guess that's how we got here. We talked about Donald Sterling getting in trouble for saying he would tank for a player. So in order to counterbalance that, the NBA created the lottery system. So at the time, it was the worst 7 teams each had an equal chance to get the number 1 overall pick. And for full transparency's sake, the entire thing was broadcasted live on television. The results were broadcasted live, unlike today where they're broadcasted after the fact.
Okay.
And you can go watch the YouTube video. It's out there. But when Donald Sterling, so how it works is there's literally like a roller bin thing, like you're playing bingo with your grandpa in the middle of it that has big envelopes in it. And when David Stern dumps in the letters, one of them he knocks really hard against the side of the bowl. So roly, 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 roly. They go through the draft. The number 1 overall pick that has that bent edge is selected. And that number one overall pick, Jay, became a guy by the name of Patrick Ewing.
Ooh.
Yeah. Who was the biggest surefire number 1 player, and while he himself did not win a title, was arguably one of the greatest basketball players of the 90s.
Yeah. Arguably.
Now, David Stern himself was a big Knicks fan. The Knicks themselves were going through TV contract turmoils, and the fact that literally by happen circumstance, whether you want to believe it or not, the Knicks envelope happened to have the bent edge, and somehow teams like the Indiana Pacers, which didn't really nationally matter, right, got like the 2nd pick. So people point to things like that, and David Stern, to be fair to him, kind of placated and played along with it for a lot of years about whether he really did rig it or not. So it's truthfully up to you, the viewer, Jay.
Or when the Cavaliers, for the 3rd year in a row, beat the Milwaukee Bucks to get the 1st round pick and then traded it.
Yeah, sure, that's another one. Like LeBron when the Cavs, yeah.
Well, I'm going to say it. They also did it again with Andrew Wiggins.
Yeah, that was right after LeBron left. Well, technically,
and Anthony Bennett.
Kyrie Irving as well with the Clippers pick.
Yeah, the Cavaliers had 3 first-round picks in 4 years.
And one of them was Tristan Thompson.
And then the other one was Andrew Wiggins and Anthony Bennett.
That's crazy.
No, that means they had 4 because of Kyrie Irving.
How many first-round picks can a team have?
As many as they want.
Or as many as they trade for.
Yeah, the only rule is you cannot trade your own picks in back-to-back years.
Yeah. So like if a team wanted to, they could trade their whole roster pretty much for draft picks and then just refill up on draft picks.
Yeah, that's what if you ever heard of Trust the Process, when the Philadelphia Sixers were really bad in the early 2010s, that's what they were doing, was just trading away players for picks.
Good God.
But
Fun
it's not
fact,
like
one
what
of
you're
those picks
thinking,
was
Jay,
technically
where they
Jason
had
Tatum.
like 12 picks in a draft. They had like a lot in the NBA is like 7. So like,
I don't know.
actually, I'd say a lot in the NBA.
Yeah,
is like
look at
4.
what the Thunder's doing. Yeah, like there's.
I say a lot in the NBA in one draft is 4 picks, but like the Sixers, I remember one draft had like 7 picks.
The Brooklyn Nets once traded away like 5 years worth of draft picks for the carcasses of Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and
Wait, 5 years worth of drafts?
Oh yeah, they didn't have the Brooklyn Nets. Yeah, they didn't have basic control. Like yeah, so the modern Boston Celtics, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum were technically picks from the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah.
Good God.
Yeah. No, the Celtics have pulled off some crazy things. In the 80s, when Red Auerbach was coach, in the same draft, Jay, he traded for not 1 but 2 future Hall of Famers in one trade.
How?
There was this guy named Joe Barry Carroll who was supposed to be really good, and Red Auerbach basically convinced the Warriors GM, like, hey, Joe Barry Carroll's going to be really good. So because he was a good college player, it was that fallacy. So
Yeah.
Auerbach was able to convince the Golden State Warriors general manager, hey, trade me the guy you just picked, Robert Parrish, out of the small college of Centurion, and also your later first-round pick, and I'll give you Joe Barry Carroll. So the Golden State Warriors GM was elated, thinking that he outsmarted the Red Auerbach. But Red Auerbach in that draft later selected Kevin McHale.
Also,
So,
didn't the Oklahoma City Thunder trade Paul George and Russell Westbrook and Carmelo Anthony for like 11 first-round picks and like 14 second-round picks combined?
and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander in return, they got Shea Gilgeous as well from.
So yes, not
LA.
only did they get an MVP caliber player, they also got like 20 picks as well.
Yeah,
trading 3 players.
That gives a team so much cap flexibility for like
actually 4 because they traded Steven Adams in those trades as well. I forget about him. That him and Russell Westbrook were packaged together.
I think Steven Adams was a pick received from the James Harden trade, if I remember correctly, as well.
Yeah, then the Thunder traded him. I want to say to the Rockets with Westbrook, right?
Was either that or Memphis?
No, he went to Memphis after the Rockets.
Okay. Sometimes some of that stuff gets a little bit I get lost in the weeds with me, so I apologize here. But yeah, Jay, I guess we got off the beaten track here. Does that answer your question about why fans think the NBA is rigged at all?
Yeah, but that's crazy.
Honestly, it's mostly just small inconsistencies. There's not really a lot of like full-blown evidence to make it, like with the refs in certain playoff series holding or blowing whistles and stuff like that.
What about it was the craziest part, Jay?
Where it's just like I really don't understand the draft at all.
Like why the lottery exists, or
why did the lottery exist?
To decentivize you from losing.
Yeah.
Rather than Because if that was the case, there would be teams who would literally only win 5 games in a season.
Oh my god!
Oh my god, we're going sideways here.
Right.
But wouldn't that be the truth about all other sports? You can lose every single game in other sports too.
But again, in hockey, there's 33 people on a bench. Football, there's 50. Why does my camera keep doing that? And then basketball, there's only technically now 18 to 19 people, but 15 on a full roster. So there's not as much room for mistakes and leeway.
You can't have any amount of first round picks.
Yeah.
Only if you trade for it. It's not going to give it to you.
But the idea of trading for all the first round picks is nuts.
It's because
you can drop the whole team of first round picks.
A team has never done that before, but it is possible.
No, like instances of like Red Auerbach of the Celtics getting those 2 Hall of Famers in a single trade in the early '80s are
All right, I'm
very
turning my camera off.
hard.
Piss me off.
That's nuts. But are very far and few between. So take that salt with whatever if you will. But this has been the NBA draft lottery lesson.
But the idea of you can do it is the crazy part.
Is there a limit in the NFL?
In the NFL, there's no way you can get like 5 or 6 first round picks in the same draft.
Like the Cavaliers one year, I thought had 3 lottery picks. Give me a second. This is actually an interesting question. Team with most first round picks.
I literally said it was the Cavaliers. They literally had four in like 5 years or 4 in 6 years.
But I know
Kyrie Irving, Tristan Thompson, or something, or Wright, and then they had Anthony Bennett.
Dion Waiters.
Yeah, Dion Waiters. Yeah. Dion Waiters.
Who
Kyrie
was supposed
Irving,
to be, man, dude,
Anthony Bennett, and Andrew Wiggins.
Bunches. At Syracuse, it's too bad he couldn't make it work in the NBA.
He just didn't play defense. He was a good scorer. He just couldn't
He
defend.
also had some off the court issues too.
Yeah, partier. And then I think some law stuff as well.
Okay, so while I can't really find teams that have like teams with the most first round selections in NBA history, I think it's 3 if I had to guess, maybe 4. The Oklahoma City Thunder have like one. Hang on, they have 1,
I thought
2,
it was 23.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 first round picks that they've acquired on their own between now and 2029. So basically, they have an extra 2 first round picks each year. Sorry, I get you in the weeds there. Yeah.
That's nuts, dude.
And they're the
Brooklyn,
only team
Oklahoma
realistically
City, Utah,
that
San
could
Antonio,
trade for Giannis, but there's no need for them to do it.
No way. Hold on. Did you guys see that comment?
What?
That after they've decided all the tiebreakers and all the protections with the pick, that Brooklyn, OKC, Utah, and San Antonio hold nearly like a third of the picks.
Mm-hmm.
4 teams hold a third of the picks. What the hell?
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's not lying.
And real quick, Jay, I understand we said something about Giannis, and I'm still standing on it. Everyone that I'm talking to in Milwaukee, and I can't say their names because I would get in trouble. He's not going anywhere. The Bucks have no interest in trading him. Giannis has not indicted anything towards them. Shams is just trying to keep his career afloat and get entertainment to ESPN. The only teams that can trade for him cap reasons wise are in their own timeline and don't need to set themselves back. Giannis is like the 5th most paid player in the NBA, so no matter where he's going to go, that team's going to be in cap hell like the Bucks. People don't realize that because people are too stuck in their fantasy head and wanting Giannis. I get it. It's not just me being a Bucks fan not wanting him to go because you got to look for the future. We have no picks. I would get it if we had picks. But the only 2 teams that can do that are already set in their path and don't need Giannis. And then all teams that want Giannis can't afford him, even if they trade a lot of their players. And a lot of them don't have the picks for the Bucks' interest. The Bucks would at least want 5 first rounders because that's what Anthony Davis went for. And Giannis is light years ahead of Anthony Davis in my eyes. Giannis gets like 7 to 8 first round picks plus 2 players.
Look, man, I remember when it was June 28th, 2017 at Victory Field in Indianapolis, and the Paul George Softball All-Stars were having their yearly charity game. And surely enough, people were asking Paul George about his impending free agency. And he said, I want to be in Indiana. I love Indiana, which seemed so absolutely contrarian to everything that was getting reported.
Just want you to know, Paul George and Giannis are character types are 100% different, though, dude.
It's the same business. It's the same business. the
No,
same
but Paul
business.
George has also, but Giannis is also light years ahead of Paul George. Like I get what you're trying. I get what you're trying to say. Like it's that. Like if you maybe said the Luka and Dallas thing, but that's because Nico isn't a good GM. Like
I don't. Do you really like Paul George is like a good player? Like he's
I
made
think
like
Paul George is
6
one
or
of my
7
favorite players.
all
By the way,
defensive.
I don't want you to think I don't. I'm not one of those Paul George haters. He's one of my favorite players in the NBA. But trying to compare their situations are totally opposite.
Yeah, but
One,
you know what? You know what?
the Pacers just kind of disrespected him in the contract wise, and then he just felt slighted. Then they were never able to repair.
What you got, Jay?
Huh?
Yeah, but you know what?
Jay was saying something. Sorry, my bad.
You can never say never in sports.
But when the official team comes out, guys, that's what I'm telling you is the difference. That they're not going to trade him. Doesn't make sense. It does not make sense right now to trade him. It's all a bunch of this is literally the agenda and a rhetoric pushed every year for the last 9 years that Giannis will not be in Milwaukee. It's not a new thing, guys. We hear this every year for the last 9 years as a Bucks fan that Giannis is leaving ever since he won the Most Improved Player award.
Yeah, but the same thing in football with Tom Brady. Nobody thought he's gonna leave New England.
They said the same thing with Kobe Bryant and Dirk Nowitzki, and they both retired with their teams.
We are also
They
talking
said
about
the same thing with Tim Duncan in the last couple of years of the San Antonio Spurs run.
This is the same organization that when they unfortunately lost to that Heat team as the 8 seed Heat team, and a lot of it was because Budenholzer was not in the right mindset that they still can Budenholzer, the guy who won them their first titles since like the LBJ administration. So this is clearly an organization that doesn't have a
Mike Budenholzer never made adjustments, dude. There's so many times in playoff times where he literally would keep playing the same people over and over again, and it clearly wasn't working. And we had bench players that were actually better, and a lot of us knew it, and he never made those changes. I get his losing his brother is a part of it, and that sucks. But he still never made the adjustments, and he still allowed Drew Holiday to be on Jimmy Butler, and Jimmy Butler would shoot over him every position. That's the reason we lost.
I just don't know, but like, how do you? I almost hate to say you give them an incomplete grade because of a coach going through something so traumatic like that. But even though they lost, and I'll give the Heat credit, I almost give the Bucks. I do give the Bucks an incomplete grade. I do, even though they lost.
He did it for besides the championship year. Every playoffs we lost the same reasons, and that was him not making adjustments. There's no reason you play a 6'3" point guard on a 6'7" forward when he can shoot over him all the time. And he even did it in the Brooklyn series that we won the championship with, but we got lucky. He kept putting PJ Tucker and Drew Holiday on Kevin Durant, who's 6'10". We're lucky we got out of that. I'm appreciative because we got a ring out of it.
Yeah.
But he kept doing the same things over and over again. And then recently came out, the reason we hired Doc Rivers wasn't because of our general manager, was because the owners wanted Doc Rivers. And now the reason why our manager, our GM, got a contract extension is because now the owner said, we will back off from player and team operations for you to fix our franchise. That's another reason why I don't think the Bucks are going to trade Giannis. This is all came out from our local journalists and all our stuff that the NBA refuses to talk about. Then they want to bring up, they had a players meeting with the coaching staff. The Bucks have that every season. We even had that the year we won the championship. That's just something we have. There's so many things that are so normal to me as a Bucks fan that you guys are now experiencing and saying it's not different. This is all new noise, and it's annoying as a Bucks fan. It's not just because, we are potentially, if he leaves, he leaves. That's truly how I feel. But it's annoying because it's been like that for 9 years. It's because ESPN hates Milwaukee. They talk about it all the time. The weather this, the weather that, but they never come here. When's the last time you've seen TNT and ESPN have their desk come here? They don't.
They don't do that. They don't travel that.
About getting the All-Star game. We were supposed to get the All-Star game before the Indiana Pacers, dude.
to be fair, they don't. I don't think inside the NBA travels at all anymore. When was the last time they were at a playoff series? Period.
The Lakers, the Golden State Warriors, San Antonio Spurs. They were
but
in
what year?
Boston. You know, they
for the
even
conference finals?
they even went to Indianapolis. By the way, last year, not this year. Last year they did.
But I don't think this season they've gone anywhere then, right?
No, because it's the final season.
That's right. Yeah, and I guess they just don't know. God, I'm not looking forward to them splitting up the inside the NBA crew. What's up, Jay? Sorry.
What's the final season for?
It's just the NBA is moving to streaming platforms, so they just bought.
Are they really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Remember when I told you everyone's moving to streaming platforms? We've had like 7 episodes about the NFL and NBA moving.
Yeah, like that's why the NBA on NBC is coming back. If you've seen all those commercials.
I do not like these.
Taterhead, that is not true. He literally missed 2 seasons with the Spurs, and then he was out half of the season he was with the Toronto Raptors. Kawhi Leonard's always been hurt. I don't know what you're thinking. Don't put that on Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers is bad enough in his rotations.
God,
you don't
did you
need
just
that.
say the Pacers are still too busy with Lance Stevenson? It's 2025.
Ooh, Taterhead said that?
Yeah. The issue with the Pacers is we're too busy on Lance Stevenson. Did I just have a stroke? Did that right? He said Lance Stevenson, right?
Yeah, he hasn't been on that. He hasn't been on that team
5 years.
What, for
pandemic?
3 since the pandemic? Yeah, he had his little comeback.
Yeah. So
the bubble, yeah.
That was wild.
I know Kenton's take on the streaming platform, but let me ask Caleb this. What do you think about sports going to streaming platforms?
Well, gentlemen, I guess that's a question of you as the consumer. I had a media friend of mine, so I want to set the stage. This would have been like 2014.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking about, like, God, why the hell is all the programming on, like, NBC Sports Network and, like, Fox Sports 2 just god-awful? And he looks at me, he goes, Caleb, you don't get it. They're just setting themselves up for the future and bloating contracts. I kind of just got quiet. And he goes, so in this new reset of there being the internet, all of these leagues are going to go streaming. And what that means for you, the consumer, is you're going to have to go buy all these apps. This was 10 years ago, 10, 15 years ago, this guy's saying this.
It's just getting rid of a casual, man.
And he goes, literally part of the other reason why they did this was they were going to help drive up college football contracts and baseball contracts and NBA contracts that ESPN is paying for in order to bankrupt ESPN so that NBC, ESPN can get their share of pie and look who's broadcasting the NBA next season. It's NBC, not Disney at all anymore. It's already started.
Yeah, I know Kenton knows about this, but I did the math. If you want to see the whole season of the NBA, the NFL, with all the platforms, you're gonna pay about $1,300 a season for it.
Yeah, and that it's crazy.
You might
right?
as well pay season tickets for your team.
I've thought about it honestly. Like, it's cheaper. You can actually make money on buying season tickets, right? Because you can just sell the games you don't want to go to.
if you can't make it to a game.
No, you can't. Yeah, but if you have season pass, if you have season tickets for the NFL game, and if you get caught selling your ticket, they'll take the rights away from you. They'll take the season tickets away from you and never ever let you back with season tickets.
Jay, then every single Packers fan who's a season ticket holder would be kicked out.
Yeah,
but did you?
There's no way.
But did you hear?
Okay, but
there was
Sorry, Jay. Go ahead.
There were the Detroit Lions fans with season tickets, and they live in a different state, but they're season holder tickets. They did make it to some of the games, but the other games they couldn't make, so they sold it to the family members that live there. But for some reason, the organization of the Detroit Lions found out about it and took their rights to that season ticket away from them.
It's probably because they don't live in Michigan, but
Yeah, no, there's like weird, like you technically come from where like seat licensing didn't seat licensing get created by Al Davis back in the day?
Yeah, I think it did.
That's, I mean, that sounds like an Al Davis invention. Let's be real.
It does. It does.
Oh man.
I'm eating.
I sometimes take a weird joy in the fact that, like, so he always wanted to have that new shiny stadium, right?
Yeah, and
That's
they
always
finally
what Al
got it.
wanted. And then he got it. He wasn't alive to see it. And the truth is, it straddled his son with a lot of debt and the family with a lot of debt. So at what cost? Who's a Vegas Raiders fan? Go look on YouTube. What Vegas Raiders YouTube pages exist?
I
I'm
follow
here to talk
one.
about Max Crosby. How many people does it have? Does it have 100 fans? That'd be crazy.
Like it's not 100K, but he's I want to say 49 in the 50s.
Okay, that's actually not bad. Maybe I did miss one then, but I swear when I tried to type it in, it was all like they all were like under 1,000. Which I was like,
I
wow.
don't think that I'm pretty sure he just has the Raiders logo, but his name is his own YouTube name. He's just a Raiders fan.
Yeah,
What's
well,
his name?
I'm
I want
trying
to
to.
say it's something Grid.
Oh, what Jay?
I think.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm
No,
going
I
to my
mean, I
YouTube.
was trying to find some Raiders podcasters. Man, I can't find any.
I only found this guy because of a Los Angeles Chargers fan, so I might not even be subscribed to him. I'm
That's-
subscribed to that Chargers
You
fan.
found a Raider fan by a Charger fan? That's hilarious. What the
I know,
hell?
yeah. I
Wait,
think
what?
this is Tribal.
Well,
Wow.
they were in the same house, dual streaming. So I'm guessing they're like cousins or something, or just
Oh,
friends.
okay, yeah.
I want to say
Yeah,
they
that
were
makes
cousins because they looked more alike, or brothers. But yeah, that'd
Yeah,
be crazy.
yeah, people
There's
right now, I'm trying to find each team with one podcaster so I can ask them if they want to come on to the show or interview. But yeah, I'm having a hard time.
I'm subscribed to over 500 channels.
Yeah, it's like that way, right? So I do baseball stuff for Tree too. What A's fan, or sorry, the Athletics, what fans did they really have? It's basically it's like what happened with the Memphis Titans, right? It's just that all over again.
Nah, the A's have fans. It's just the organization abandoned them a long time ago.
They do. That's true. And
nah, I watched the Oakland leaving videos. This is the first time I think I ever cried watching something for another team. By the way, because that was the saddest thing I ever saw in my life. Like, and the reason I'm going to defend him is because of how sad this video was. And so many fans did say that. Like, that's a thing that people don't believe, that there's no A's fans. We don't exist. No, they literally said, that's the quote. This woman said, I quote, "We stopped supporting the team after the organization left us years ago."
Well, I was a big A's fan.
See,
really?
boom!
Oh, shit.
Because I do live in the Bay Area. If you're not a Giants fan, you're an A's fan here.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't like the Giants.
Of course, yeah.
Nope, the best thing about them is the orange in their
Damn,
jerseys.
man. I'm sorry, Jay. These last couple years must have been pretty rough.
Oh, it was rough to see how the A's. I really thought we were gonna get a new stadium in Oakland.
But it was Howard Terminal, right?
Yeah. And I really thought they were gonna stay here.
You guys went through 5 different stadium renderings.
Dude, you watched that AL wildcard game against the Royals. That blows my mind. That was an unbelievable game, dude. I turned that off. I thought that was like, yeah, dude, the A's won this. This is over. Royals are showing no fight, and then just
Yeah, they came back. Yeah.
it was an insane game. Yeah,
But I remember the World Series against it was the Bay. I think it was like '89.
I talk about. So remember, talk about the Bay series, not the series versus Cincinnati.
Yeah, no. Against the San Francisco Giants and the Oakland A's.
Yeah, I'd love to hear your story about this. This is a pretty big World Series. Yeah, I'm all ears.
It was great, but I was watching. I don't know if it was game 2 or 3, but me and my friends were watching it after school at my house. Watch it, and all of a sudden, everything was shaky. I'm like, what is this? And my friend goes, it's an earthquake, and the TV went out. I was bawling my eyes out because it was my first earthquake ever coming to America, and I didn't know what was going on. Yeah, and at that time, man, I didn't know, but people in the stadium, I was generally worried about all the people in the stadium. When the earthquake stopped and when the TV came back on, it was all pandemonium. Everybody was running around looking for the family, all that stuff.
Wow.
But yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy.
What did you and your friends do in the immediate aftermath of the earthquake?
Well, after that, I wasn't in San Francisco, but I was in the area where it was safe. But man, nobody could go to San Francisco by car anymore for about probably a year. The Bay Bridge actually broke in half. It actually broke it up. All the highways were closed. The only way you can get into San Francisco was by ferry. After what happened.
Damn.
Yeah, so it was tough. But yeah, I mean, there were a lot of people that got killed, bridges falling down on cars. You can actually see cars hanging off the cliff of the bridge, almost falling into the ocean. And it was bad. And they actually had counselors come to our schools to talk to kids if they needed counseling at the time. So yeah, it was crazy.
Wow. Damn, man.
And yeah, and that's the only big earthquake that I've been in since then.
Is he injured, or is he just like stingered injured?
Who is Jason
Jason
Tatum?
Tatum.
What happened to Jason Tatum?
I actually don't
another
know.
reason. Oh, by the way, and Caleb, you might be able to kind of agree with this after I put this point. Another reason why I don't see Giannis leaving is just the landscape of the NBA now. All these teams that were expected to do well have to gamble up, and people are like, oh, they might think that they make from trades more. No, they have no pass on whatever they do, and a lot of these teams are landlocking their players. Like, it would have to be a huge domino effect of trades for anything like that to happen.
And the Luka Doncic trade wasn't the first domino to fall.
No, I don't think so. I just think that was just literally a dumb move. The reason why is because the new owners of the Dallas Mavericks don't want to be in Dallas no more. They're trying to move to Vegas.
I think you're totally
They-
right about the contracts not like aligning, and I think we'll just see more stars swapped for more stars. Personally, that's what I think.
and I will say, and again, this is me being an NBA fan because people don't look at the damn contracts.
Sure.
It just wouldn't be honest. It would be like Luka again. Maybe I could see because the Lakers are stuck. And the Lakers are stuck in more cap hell than the Bucks. Us trading Chris Middleton was people don't ask. Us trading Chris Middleton was our trade. That was our trade. That was us getting out of our second apron. We're no longer in the second apron. We're in the first apron. Well, no, we're not in the first apron. We're literally just out. And Pat Connaughton's contract's about to expire. Bobby Portis is a free agent. We're no longer paying him. So we have more money. Of course, we have to sign those guys and sign other players. But we have a little bit money to do things. And because, again, people don't pay attention to the Bucks, they're not putting it in place.
Do you
So
see
it is
Dwight
way
Howard
too
tweeting
soon.
about it?
It's way too soon anyways to say, oh, Giannis is leaving anyways. We finally have cap room to get our bench solidified. To me, the biggest problem with the Bucks is not Giannis or our players, it's Doc Rivers and our ownership. Like, and if that's the case, no matter who the Bucks have, they could have Giannis 2.0 again. If our owners keep messing up and interfering with the roster movement and stopping John Horst from being the general manager of the year that he was 2 years in a row, we're not going to get to the team we need. He's been so good at getting key players like a Gary Trent Jr. on cheap contracts, and people also don't give the Bucks prep for that as much as I want to critique him for other things. But now knowing that a lot of the bad decisions that we did were because of our owners stepping in, I'm not going to get mad at John Horst no more. He has been the quote-unquote magic being that we all thought he was. Like, a lot of the trades made no sense, but of course when owners want to do with their team, they do. But again, the fact that as soon as the season ended, the owners were being transparent for once, saying, hey, we're going to let him do his thing. They signed him to an extension. Let's see what he can do this off season. To me, that implements the Bucks have a plan or a path. I'm just not going to ignore that for ESPN's mainstream agenda rhetoric to get views and points and stuff. And then I'm going to hear Knicks fans and Los Angeles Lakers fans saying, oh, and Heat fans, by the way, saying, oh, we're getting Giannis. That's just not the reality of it.
I don't think that LA can get Giannis anyway.
If I told you I was wearing a Miami Heat jersey right now, would you believe me?
No.
Yes. Because probably a Dwayne Wade jersey.
It is not Dwayne Wade. Who is it?
Chris Bosh.
It is not Chris Bosh.
Then it's in Shaq jersey?
LeBron
It is a Shaquille O'Neal Miami Heat jersey. Probably one of the very few in existence still.
I was gonna say because I have Dwayne Wade jersey.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
Okay.
who actually bought a Miami Heat Shaq jersey? But then the fact that nobody bought one made it real retro. My favorite is whenever real NBA heads. I've run into a couple of them that come to me and say, "Why do you have a Jermaine O'Neal jersey?" And I just kind of look at them like, "What?"
Yeah, why not?
I have a Carmelo Anthony Syracuse jersey.
No, but they think my Shaq Heat jersey is the Jermaine O'Neal Heat jersey.
Oh, it's not.
Correct. Yeah, they didn't realize Shaq was on the Heat. It's just like, what?
And didn't Jermaine O'Neal wear 33 instead of 34?
30. Wait, who?
I thought he wore a different number anyways.
Oh no, Shaq wore 32.
No, but didn't Jermaine O'Neal wear 34?
Good question. I love the NBA. I'm gonna throw it a Jermaine O'Neal reference.
So let me ask you, how did wrestling turn into an NBA? Straight.
Because it's a real sport. Oh!
There ain't men in tats in this sport, Jay.
No script writing here. Allegedly.
Well, there is.
Oh, how dare you!
Now, hold on.
Are you telling me that wrestling is fake?
No, it's predetermined. There's a difference.
Yeah, it's like the NBA draft lottery. It's very real.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like that sarcasm.
I really want sarcasm. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, you know what I'm talking about, Caleb?
If only. Yeah. I found we were talking about Giannis and everything earlier. I found this. Dwight Howard gave his unwanted opinion on it all. Do you guys want to guess what Dwight Howard said to Giannis?
Oh, well, if I want to continue to win and continue my legacy, I'd leave if I were him.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's actually just 9 words. It says, "Don't leave, Giannis," coming from someone who's been there.
That's the first thing I could ever say that I agree with Dwight Howard. Oh, that beautiful man. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Oh, thank you.
Wow.
He'd probably give you a big kiss back too.
You know,
I thought that was
he has
interesting.
a good smile. It's fine.
It's I kind of agree with that. Those Magic teams were good, man. It got weird at the end as he wanted to get like the bigger spotlight.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
So
like,
apparent.
so another reason too, Giannis this season and many a podcast as he was doing his tour, many a times people was like, "Oh, would you go play this team, blah blah blah." One, he always of course says like Milwaukee's his thing, but unlike like you, okay, I'll use Paul George again because he used him earlier.
Sure.
Paul George didn't rebuild the Indiana Pacers. You know, they were going off of an old team that was there, but like you guys weren't the worst team in the NBA for roughly a
No, that
season
was
and
the
a half.
era. Yeah, that was the era of win 44 games and make the playoffs. Yeah.
So like
50
that's
win
what I'm
playoff,
saying.
Yeah.
And he wasn't like, and again, his background's different. He was more of a star already. He already had his thing up. People were expecting him to leave Indiana already because he said, I would like to stay here because they believed in me. But his wasn't like, no, I want to stay here until later on when contract disputes were going on. But then the Pacers management ruined that by offering him a cheaper contract in the first place. And he felt slighted by that. And they couldn't change his mind after. And
I
then,
hate to tell you,
and
there's
then
one
also,
major thing you're forgetting. Okay, what is it?
Also, he's an egotistic guy. As much as I love Paul George, and you can see this now with his whole podcast and how he is in the Sixers, he's always been that guy. As much as he says the right things, his actions have said the opposite.
So you're on the right track with your second note, which is the thing people kind of forgot about. So during that time, Larry Bird was a big head honcho within the Pacers organization, and him and Paul George butted heads rather frequently. And in that final summer, one of the final things that broke their relationship is Larry Bird wanted to play Paul George power forward, and it completely.
Yeah, I remember
no
that.
way.
Paul George did not want to do that at all.
Yeah, and then it was like, I think eventually Bird left the org, and then that's when Kevin Pritchard got involved, and Pritchard traded Paul George.
Yeah, he was like, I'm not even trying to fix this. If it's gone, it's gone. You know.
Well, Pritchard's an interesting guy because he's the same guy that assembled the Jailblazer teams. He's the same guy that assembled the Brandon Roy, LaMarcus Aldridge Blazers. But he is also the same guy that drafted Greg Oden. So he's got some interesting – he's got wins and he's got losses in his career for sure as a general manager.
Yeah, I just think he's a very stern person, though. So,
you know
like,
what?
that's what
I just realized.
The reason I said is that's why he didn't want to fix Paul George's thing. He's just like, it's not my mess I created. It's better to move on and start over. He had like that mindset, I think.
Jay, you have to change the stream title to Jay watches WWE Monday Night Live Raw while two people talk about NBA conspiracy theories. 2025.
I think I do.
Yeah, I think you have to at this point.
I don't know. I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Hey, I've enjoyed the conversation.
I feel bad. People are in here expecting Monday Night Raw, and we're talking about Paul George. They must be very confused
And disappointed.
Yeah,
Especially out of all the
Yeah.
NBA players we could be talking about right now, we're talking about Paul George.
We're talking about Greg Oden and Brandon Roy, right? Like just names that haven't been talked about in a very long time. So,
Hey, but NBA fans love Brandon Roy, though. He just because of injuries, his career got halted.
yeah, there's something to be said to the fact that it always seemingly was the Blazers that had bad player health management, cough, cough. Which is something I've noticed.
It's the Sixers. The Sixers have the worst.
Well, of that era, I guess, to be more precise.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say of all time, it's definitely the Sixers. They have like the most injury-prone players of all time.
Although Oden health experts later claimed that when he was at Ohio State, they looked at his knees. It was the same knees as like a 55-year-old man. He was like 19.
Well, he also had a problem where one leg was extremely bigger than the other,
It was like
and
a
that
quarter inch shorter than the other. Yeah.
yeah, and
Really?
it was extreme difference because every person has that, by the way. Um, but it's like centimeters difference. His was like I think they said was in like 2 inches, and that's what was they're afraid to like do. And it wasn't like in one spot; it was like in multiple. He had his knee was different and his hip joint, and then together that created the huge unbalance, which created to him getting to a lot of injuries.
Yeah. Oh my God, Chiefs fans in here. Hey, Chiefs fan, what you think about this NBA talk, Chiefs fan? I know there's a big NBA presence in Kansas City.
I
So
think. Is he still in here?
I don't know. He just said hey. He said hey a while ago, and I just saw him up there.
Yeah, I said I hate back, but he didn't answer back.
It's
But
fair
yeah, no,
enough.
don't believe this Giannis rhetoric because it's literally as soon as the NBA, as soon as the Bucks announce something, Shams like, you well, Giannis is open to it. I'm like, he was open to it before he got Drew Holiday. This isn't the first time, dude. Like it is just I'm just annoyed because I want to enjoy the off season. Let us be in Cancun.
Dude, it's 4. You can't even enjoy the off season anymore.
But this is the reason why I started my own podcast, like well, my own form of media with you and stuff like that. Because like they don't talk about this stuff. Like I'm not just saying this because I'm a Bucks fan. I'm saying this because this is how he is. They don't care about his character type. What he said, I understand things can change, but again, his actions have proved it. You know, he's put pressure on the team before to make splashes and moves, then has re-signed the contract. I don't think also. I understand Damian Lillard got hurt, but Damian Lillard left the Blazers to come here, sacrifice everything he had. I get he asked for a trade himself, but that was a mutual thing between the organization and him. And now that he's here and he's injured, I don't think Giannis is going to leave that man dry and high. I don't think that's his character. He's going to wait till Damian Lillard comes back and just be like, all right, let's see what we can do now. And if Damian Lillard can't come back and their contracts wind down, then I think Giannis will leave. But because of his character type, again, I don't know him personally, but for what he's shown and how he is and how he's handled himself, how he's talked about certain things, the people he idolizes, like Kobe Bryant and Dirk Nowitzki, like I think that he will toughen this out. He's a stubborn player. He's a stubborn person.
I guess we'll we will see.
Damian Lillard, by the way, today, Damian Lillard said that he's going to play again. This is not his last time, and he said it's going to be for the Bucks. They have unfinished business. I think these guys are too competitive.
Yeah, Damian Lillard just want to end up like that commercial that he was in like 2012 with like Karl Malone and Barry Sanders, and where he's talking about never winning a title, and it's all the famous athletes that never won a title.
I'm saying him and Giannis together have that. Right. People are saying he's washed. He's not washed. He was averaging 25 points this season. Him and Giannis were the highest duo scoring in NBA history. That's not washed.
It's not, but I guess we can only speculate so much. And as we are talking about speculation in the future, I have a question I'd even be curious to bring Jay in that's NBA related. So I'm looking at the NBA draft lottery standings. So the first 3 cities are Dallas, San Antonio, and Philadelphia. I think in any semblance of the word, warm weather, right? Or a major city, major cities in like Philadelphia, Dallas, those aren't terrible places to start your career. Okay, so I want to discount those. The next
if I just want to be honest, I think if you're a person who cares about weather when it comes to certain things and nowadays, I think you're crazy. But
interesting. I care about the weather.
I love all 4 seasons though. I think it's a personality thing. I think if you're adventurous and you like to do outdoorsy things, I think you'd prefer all 4 seasons. Even though snow's not the funnest because you have to clean it, you get to go snowboarding, you get to go up north and these cabinets things.
All right, but like,
okay, don't be so soft then.
But as far as like sports markets, you could end up at Dallas, San Antonio, Philly. Those aren't terrible. No, places, right? Okay. Here's all the right. So here's who falls immediately after that: Charlotte, Salt Lake City, Washington, D.C., New Orleans. If I were to give you your pick of the litter of those 5, which one are you picking?
Washington.
Charlotte, Salt Lake City, Washington, D.C., New Orleans.
I'll take Washington, D.C.
I'm gonna say Washington D.C.
Boy, I don't know. Those are all pretty bad.
Well,
For
if it's the
various
Washington
reasons,
D.C. I
though.
visited that was before
New
Trump,
Orleans is
then yes.
New Orleans is a cool city. Like it's just
I like
Yeah,
I like New Orleans, but okay, for me this is
Can you
kind of
imagine
cheating
being a
because
rich
I
19-year-old
know
New Orleans though. Like that's pretty cool. Like
this is kind of cheating for me though because I know a lot about geography, city planning, and cities architectures. Like you could show me a city skyline and I would recognize it. That's how much of a geek I am.
Wait, what? Really?
Dude,
I'm learning about all types of
have you seen the new
superpowers
Thunderbolts movie?
I have no idea what the hell that is.
The new Marvel movie.
No.
Okay,
Thunderbolt?
well, yeah, well, in the beginning of the movie, they show that they're in Malaysia, and I knew by seeing a skyscraper. I was like, oh, they're in Malaysia. Not seeing a flag of a damn building, and I was like, oh, they're in Malaysia. That's just because how obsessed I am with architecture and all that stuff, and like other different cultures and all that stuff.
Mhm.
That's just how I am. So I could see any of those cities that I know. Charlotte, they have the same thing like Dallas, where one of their skyscrapers have lights on them, but the biggest building in Charlotte's a pointed one with glass on it. So I don't know. I know a lot about this. I know a lot about cities, about all those cities, like cultures, their crime rates, like their living, their house of like the rent that's there. So like for me, this
Can
would
I
take too
ask?
long.
Why and or how do you know all this such information? Because there's no way in hell I would know any semblance of that here.
Because I have ADHD. That's what I'll leave it up with. I'm just playing.
Fair enough. I just didn't know if you were, like, into
Because I was
architecture
into
as
like
a hobby.
when I was younger, I was really into like the military and all that stuff in history. And then as eventually as you go on and hearing about certain cities and stuff, and you start looking at images, I start seeing buildings and architecture. I'm like, well, that's cool. I wonder how that's made. And then you just go down a rabbit hole of, oh, this building had to be approved, and then you learn rules about approvals, and then other stuff. And then I have the video game City Skylines, which is stupidly realistic for a sim builder. And then searching up stuff about how to make a realistic city and all that stuff for a video game put me down a rabbit hole about not caring about the video game anymore. And then politics got involved, which I won't get into here, but like that also made me realize
Holy cow.
and
whole
open
thing.
stuff about city planning and crime rates and why this stuff is. So pretty much, yeah, just history.
And
Like got me.
gentrification and all that from the sounds of it as well by proxy.
Yep,
Yeah.
like how almost all of our freeways used to be went through minority groups, if it was black people or big city entertainment districts for the LGBTQ plus or other religious standpoints for other groups of people. All of our freeways go through major neighborhoods for those people.
Yeah. In every instance, most of the case, yeah.
So yeah, so I'm just like an informational freak. Science has to do a lot of it with certain science facilities have to be in Pacific states or certain areas for geography reasons of weather and all this stuff. So just again, my curiosity for just being curious led me to all that stuff, and it's great to know. I wish more people knew about this stuff because it would help with a lot of things. But what's the biggest problem right now in America's education? So
An educated public, what a novel idea that would be. What are you talking about? What? Educated public. But what will they consume if they're educated?
YouTube, the content creators.
That's true. They'll consume this stream and all the smart talk that happens on here. That's right. What am I even saying?
That's what I'm saying. But the only thing is it's not flashy. It's people think it's boring, but I think it's creative. This is what I feel like when people who aren't educated. I feel like these are the deep
no, Tatum's
talks.
hurt.
These are the deep talks I think they want. Like, you know, like I want to talk about the universe, man, and all that stuff. And it's just like, well, just learn about the universe. It's pretty easy. Just takes time.
Do you think your classes happen when they're not there, bro?
I was gonna be like, do you think a tree makes a sound when it falls?
I very not have literally had somebody actually fucking say that once when they were on fucking Indica, and I'm just like, bro.
Like, all right, no more for you. You're a fake high person.
Don't go to class today. Whatever you do, don't go.
No, but
Oh my gosh.
man, I just loved being informed. I'm one of those people who, as
So
much as I do
Washington
have a,
D.C. right? To
huh?
answer my original. So Washington D.C. to answer my original question, right?
Oh yes. Before Trump being in office, yes.
Jay, what about you? Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. To remind you of what that question was.
Bro, he turned around like, where are you?
It's like, what just happened?
What the hell are you guys talking about?
Jay was experiencing how it is for a person who doesn't understand English to hear like English.
Yeah, that was very true. Someone that doesn't understand. Yeah, okay. So between the cities of Charlotte, Salt Lake City, Washington, D.C., and New Orleans, because those are the next picks in the NBA draft after San Antonio, Philly, Dallas.
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm choosing all those cities above Philadelphia. Philadelphia is in a shithole right now.
I'm not a big fan of Philly, but like, yeah, they're all kind of lower tier sports markets, if you will, right? None of them.
I would even say Houston and San Antonio are pretty bad cities right now as well. Their crime rates are high. Property is high. They don't have really good job market for living. I understand you're talking about just scenery, but like if you're just an average living person in any of those cities right now, it's pretty dumb. But again, you're talking about if I'm an NBA player, I would.
Yeah, if you're a million, like so there's so after all of the ones I listed, right after Charlotte, Salt Lake, all that, the one that's immediately after it. Okay, I'll include it. I will allow you to be a professional basketball player in the city of New York, but you have to be playing for the Brooklyn Nets. Does that change your answer?
Oh, I love Brooklyn. I like the Brooklyn Nets more than I do the Knicks, anyways.
But you're playing for the Brooklyn Nets.
They're not a bad team right now. I mean, they're a bad team. But what I mean is like
a bad team right now is definitely some heavy lifting in some of those words.
What does that mean? Is they're not a hopeless team. There you go. They're not a hopeless team. They just don't have an identity. They don't have that face. They're competitive because they beat a lot of teams that they shouldn't, quote unquote, beat this season. But they haven't won enough to be serious. But that's because, again, they don't have a face. They have no one's going to take charge. So if I'm able to do that, I would prefer the Nets because I can make a name for myself. I could be the leader that the team obviously needs. So I would be I would know what my position is, where I would be needed for that team. Like, that's why I'm saying, like, they're in a better position. They're not a better team or a good team, but they're just not hopeless, and they have a direction if they can get their face. Like, if they get one player that's like a Cade Cunningham, that's it. That's their guy. That's their leader. Now, I'm not saying they're trying to take him, but you know what I mean? Just in the draft, if they get that guy or from free agency, the Brooklyn Nets have a good bench. Like, they have literally, to me, some of the best role players you can get. They just need a star that can carry, that can hold their team.
Sorry, not Jay. Ken, are you watching this Celtics Knicks game at all?
No, my TV. When I want to watch stuff, my TV box isn't working, so I can't, unfortunately.
Okay then. Well, I will play the breaking news sounder. This is not good. Tatum went like a couple minutes ago. Tatum went on the floor in pain. Had to be helped up with 2 assistant coaches. Could not put weight on ankle.
It's going to be serious.
Dang.
Yeah, it's not good. It's his second injury of the game. It's not whatever it happened. It's not going to be.
Yeah, so it's serious.
Yeah, he could not. When it happened, he immediately fell to the floor. He could not get up. They stopped play. It was
my prediction for this offseason is the Celtics will reset their bench, not their damn starting lineup like everyone's saying. See, guys, I'm even standing up for other teams with their stars. I don't think they're trading Jason Tatum. I don't think they're trading Jaylen Brown, okay? Those 2 guys are safe for Boston Celtics fans. Everyone else, they're an aging team as well, but their bench is way more. But unlike my Bucks, their bench is way more flexible than ours. Even though they're in money hell is more than the Bucks, their bench players are a lot more desirable than ours. So they can have leeway in that standpoint. Another team, shocking that people are talking about, I don't understand why, are the Knicks. The Knicks are winning right now. There's no need. Okay, here are the teams that don't need to really make moves this off season: Thunder, Rockets, the Knicks.
Don't fool yourself. The New York Knicks need some shooting on the perimeter. Absolutely, are you kidding me? They're a defensive
for maybe their
juggernaut.
bench, but not their starting lineup.
I mean, you got
They're a
Mikal
pretty
Bridges.
solid team.
They're
What I
fine.
mean, they don't need. Okay, what I mean, don't do anything. I mean, like major, dude. Like they can still make
Sure.
rotations, but I'm saying these teams don't need to do anything, quote unquote, major. Trading their stars like Karl Anthony Towns, getting rid of Jalen Brown. I would even put the Indiana Pacers in there, where they probably just, again, I think the Pacers are peaking a little too fast and need to get solidified bench pieces that won't leave. But that's my only critique with the Pacers because they're playing fucking well. But
The
they shouldn't
Pacers
make
doing
any
something
trades. They should
fast?
definitely
What's
keep.
that? Huh?
What?
The Pacers are doing something fast? That's absurd.
Right?
What?
I
don't know what that is.
They should keep Pascal Siakam. I don't know why people are talking about them not keeping him.
Yeah, that is absurd. I don't understand why they're saying trade him.
Of course, keep
watching.
Halliburton.
Yeah.
I say the pieces you guys should get rid of easily is probably Obi Toppin. A lot of teams I would like him on the Bucks because he gives athleticism, but he's a guy you guys can move. You guys should definitely re-sign McCollum, even though he fucking annoys the hell out of me. But yeah, the Pacers are another fine team. The Timberwolves are like the only team that are good that I think need to make significant changes still. Even if they win a championship this season, I think they still need to make significant changes. They're literally the only team that I'm not convinced that can be this well. Again, people are like, well, they win a championship. Okay, then they won't win another championship for 50 years again because their roster has no sustainability, no camaraderie, no loyalty. Unlike the other franchises, I just said, like, I believe Halliburton's loyal to the Pacers. I believe Tatum's loyal to the Celtics. Giannis is loyal to the Bucks. You have Cade who's loyal to the Pistons. None of those teams should make changes. You know what I mean?
Sorry.
All this hoopla of players trying to change, I get it. It's a narrative for the NBA to clicks and views, but it's not making logical sense. This is literally, out of all the seasons, this is literally the most reboot and run it back season I've ever seen in the NBA because of injuries and the contracts being so tight with the second apron and everything. Like, we are not like other leagues where it's so flexible. The NBA is a very constricted league. And people just don't care, I guess, to know that. As much as I want my Bucks to be free and to go get this free agent and this free agent and make Giannis as happy as he can, it's just not possible.
You want to know what seems impossible? Attending a Knicks Celtics game as a fan. Did you guys see the prices for the game tonight?
Yes, really bad.
Jay, did you see them? Did you see probably not?
No, how much?
All right. Yeah. How's wrestling going? What am I even saying? Let's get back to the main point of the stream.
It's already at the main event.
It's already at the main
well, welcome to NBA Night Raw. Okay.
Yeah, welcome to NBA Night Raw.
Yeah,
Pat McAfee
but the main event is a tag team match.
How's Triple H? How's Triple H's vertical? Can he be in the dunk contest?
Right.
You know he retired.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking about all the Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's a modern wrestler, right? Iron Sheik. I'm pretty sure there's a guy that was just covered in glue. He was called Glue Man, right?
Did Giannis say he wanted to play with Chicago? No and yes. An interviewer asked him if the Bucks ever traded you to the Bulls, would you still play for them? And of course, if you get traded, you have to play. But he said, why wouldn't you? Because it's a great organization that had Michael Jordan. He was just saying the right, like, publicity stuff to say. Like, it's a historic franchise because of Jordan, and you put your name with that and that franchise. Why wouldn't you? That didn't say, oh, I want to play for the Bulls, and that was also like 6 years ago. And he signed a max contract 2 times pretty much. So,
and all we can do is just sit here and pontificate on a sports talk channel about truly what his future is. instead of being like those poor New York Knicks fans that had to spend $870 just to get into the stadium tonight.
Hey,
Rest
I
in
saw my
peace, those
playoff
poor
games for
souls.
free.
That's pretty good. I had to pay for my Pacer tickets, but I got really good.
Yeah, I bet they weren't that much though.
Actually, if you want to laugh, you're not far off. Jay and Kenton here. I got into an NBA playoff game for 2 tickets, lower bowl, for about
$240.
$600 including
Oh.
fees.
By the way, I went to 240 I meant for each ticket, so I was kind of close.
It is. Look at you. It's $240 per ticket on the dot.
Oh, let's go! I know my
Look
NBA.
at that. Look at that. Look at that. That was impressive. Other seats around me were going for like $380 on other markets, just to like, yeah. So
See,
I got very lucky.
Caleb, I told you I know too many facts about things, and it's weird, man.
You did say you knew pricing, so that was a good test. And holy shit, Price is Right would absolutely be mortified to have you on. That's for damn.
For real.
So how much?
But no, by the way, those are the right prices. Every price where you see, there's a rule that I found out that every sports league does not follow, where certain prices can't be. I forgot what the law technically says, but it's something on the lines of a ticket price can't exceed the valuability of it. And the reason why sports events have been able to get around it is because of the value of the event itself is what they're saying is the reason why tickets to be expensive, but it should be for the seat, not the event.
And it's third-party sellers rather than the team itself that are selling it. But Jay, to answer your question, so I was able to get into an NBA playoff game, 2 tickets, lower bowl for $600, including fees. Okay, that's not bad for both of the tickets.
Yeah,
go ahead, sorry. Yeah, to get into the Knicks game tonight, to have the crappiest seat with a guy sitting in front of you blowing farts the entire time, that's $800 per ticket.
Oh God.
Okay, to have my equivalent seat at Madison Square Garden tonight, each of those tickets are $2,500 per ticket. If you want to sit courtside at this game tonight in New York, $25,000 per ticket. It's a used car.
That's absolute nuts.
How does that even work, right? How is a courtside seat $25,000?
I could buy a Nissan Silvia 15 and get it shipped from Japan.
That is very specific. That was incredibly specific right there. But yeah, no, I agree. Like you could go buy your buddy a car
that are specific to that number, by the way, if you want.
You could go buy your mom like a gift, like a vacation for her and her friends somewhere. Like
I can send my mom to Korea for that.
25. What would you guys do if I gave you $25,000 right now? What would you do with it? What would be the first thing?
Buy a Silvia or an Lexus, or an RX-8 or RX-7 or a Subaru from Japan, or a Nissan 180. Any JDM car that I like.
Fair enough.
Because that's the average number you need to get a car shipped here around there.
God, that's 25. That's not bad though. I thought that would have been more expensive.
Well, that's just the car itself, so like it'd probably be like another $1,000 to get it shipped, but I still would get a full car than go see a basketball game.
With $25,000, if you give me $25,000, I would fly to Korea in a first class seat, and that's all that is. I only
go to Korea, right?
I was like, you'd have way more money left, Jay, by the way.
Yeah, you get to go hang out in Korea too. You wouldn't just fly there and then fly back, right? That's what you're telling me, right?
Yeah, just spent all my money in Korea, dude.
I've never been.
I'm not gonna lie.
I've always heard good things about it, though.
If I didn't get the car, I'll go to Thailand.
It's a great city to go, man. You gotta go to Korea sometime.
I would go to Thailand for so many reasons.
Yeah, you wanna say any of those reasons, Jay? Or you wanna say any of those reasons, Kenton? Or are you just gonna kind of let
Well,
I can let you guys all think with your imagination, but no, the main reason is because they just also legalized marijuana there too. So like,
okay, but no, in Korea,
Fair
no, I said in Thailand, Jay.
every time I go to Korea, I have a blast. It's so much fun.
Isn't there a Disneyland in Korea?
There's
No,
one in Japan.
Oh, Japan. Sorry.
but the Korea has something like Disneyland, but they call it something else.
South Korea
word.
has three. South Korea has 3 big amusement parks that I know of. They probably have more, but I know they have 3. I'm also a coaster enthusiast. Like I said, I'm just informational head.
Wait,
So
Jay, have you been to these amusement parks?
Yes, I have.
isn't
they as
one
good as
in
what-
the outer skirts of Seoul, or like on the south end of it?
One is right there in the middle of Seoul. One is like right outside of Seoul, and one
That's the
is,
one I'm talking about. That one.
and there's one more near the airport in Incheon. And I've been to all 3, and I like the one in the middle of Seoul. When you ride a roller coaster in the middle of Seoul,
It's on a
at
building.
the highest peak of the roller coaster, you look out, you can see the whole landscape of Seoul. So,
Oh, wow.
And isn't that the roller coaster that's on top of a skyscraper itself?
yep.
Yep.
And I did on it. It is
Yeah, I have.
scary.
I have a list of about like of 12 roller coasters that I want to experience, and that one's one because there's a total of 4 coasters that are on top of skyscrapers, and 2 of them are in Japan and one's in Korea.
Yeah, so. But that's not what I like about Korea. The thing I like about Korea, man, you can drink all the alcohol you want all night long until like 4 in the morning.
And you will like Wisconsin, Jay.
I don't know how the Korean people do it every day. They drink it till 4 in the morning, go to sleep, get up around 7 in the morning, and go back to work. I'm like, are they even sober when they go back to work?
Jay, does South
Good
Korea
question.
have like a phrase? Because Wisconsin has a phrase. We say drink Wisconsinably.
And then, don't get me started on the women.
Don't get me started on Korean women.
And then
I'd be like, hey, Jay, I'd be like,
No one's
"Hey,
fighting
say,
for
yo,
Wisconsin
what's
women
up?
is what
How
I'm
you
understanding.
doing?" What isn't like I'd be like Hansa Hamida Kenton, what's up?
no,
Oh my
but
god.
yeah, man. I mean, if you guys get the chance, you should go.
Jay, like I said, I'm still learning Korean a little, so I gotta
And I might be going again this August. I try to go every year. Before the pandemic happened, I used to go every single year. But
Dang.
but last year was the first time I've been back since the pandemic.
Now, Jay, I've heard this in a lot of videos I see when I watch about like South Korea. Does it really stink?
Some places do because they're not. It's still a country where they're trying to get everything like the U.S. has, but it's taking a little longer. But in Seoul, it's not stinky at all. But if you go into the countryside, like way into the countryside, yeah, foreigners have a little problem with that.
Because, well, also I saw this video of a guy going back to South Korea for a car event, and he got off the airport, and he said for some reason it smells the worst in like the modern area at the airport. He says it smells
No,
like the
man,
villages.
that's a lie.
Can I ask, like, why are foreigners have an issue with the smells like a farm, like outside of the city at a farm?
Because it doesn't smell like, I guess, I guess the smell doesn't smell like an average like American animal
Barn type of
barn. It
thing.
smells
Gotcha.
worse.
Because like I was about to say, like that's a universal thing. Like I thought barns just stink. Like animal barns just stink, you know?
No, but
Not,
theirs is
not
like
even
it's like
that.
mixed with
In the
like
countryside, there's no plumbing.
yeah, I was gonna say it's mixed with like poop
Okay, all right. I see
it's
what
very
you're saying
musty.
now.
Well,
Okay.
South Korea is in a climate that's warm as it is, so now you have the animal smell mixed with the manure and the sewage, and then also just because if it didn't have that, this is just me being about geography is moist, humid climates already kind of have a weird smell to it as it is, no matter where you go. So you have those three smells mixing together. I can see why it would be very much.
But the funny thing is, really, when it rains at night and you get up in the morning and go outside, now the air is so clean after it rains. It is unbelievable how different night and day is after it rains.
Would you ever want to live back there, Jay?
I would love to live in Seoul. Not the countryside, but Seoul itself.
I say I want it, but if there wasn't such a slight undertone of racism in these Asian countries, I would want to live there. But
Well, there are still racism in Korea a little bit.
yeah, so that's the only reason that stops me from living there. But visiting a lot. Don't get me wrong, they're not like blatant they're like for people who don't know, they're not like blatant racist like Americans. It's kind of like an oblivious ignorance type of thing with them.
Versus like when you go to a
Ooh,
rural Alabama town type of mentality.
Yeah, no,
that
don't get me wrong.
is
South Korea, Japan, and even China have actual racist people who are blatantly out there and don't like people. But as a culture, it's more of an oblivious thing. Like the reason why in South Korea, I know, and it's probably the same thing for Japan, but the reason why they would see people who are darker as a lesser thing is because Asians are all technically the same color, but the more tanner South Koreans or people, whatever, would that means they're in the field. And if you're white or lighter, that means you're never outside. So you're in a palace all the time. That's how theirs became a thing. Like it's still bad and undertone there, but it's not like again like you're just not a human being anyways. I don't like you because of your skin color. It was a classism thing that you could see that was on there,
one.
which is still very bad, but you could see the difference, I guess.
That was close.
Close.
The match almost got a 3 count.
You gotta pin him. You gotta
But,
get in there and help him out there for the tag team, Jay.
Yeah, and then like another thing is like I know this is a problem in Japan, but I don't know if it's a thing in Korea, Jay. But I know in Japan a lot of shops have been like they say like no foreigners allowed because they don't like to change their customs or like
No, not in Korea.
okay, yeah, in Japan there's that problem where it's not even changing their customs or allowing it. They just don't. They see foreigners as a nuisance. Like you're just a problem.
You know why? It wasn't like that. It wasn't like that last year.
No, it's because of guys like stupid Jolly Somali and all
No,
those
yeah,
live streamers.
it's all these live IRL streamers.
Yeah, I don't want to let you know, Jay, and this is not to my words, and I'm saying this on camera. If I saw any of these guys, especially until sadly a lot of them are no, not I wouldn't say Johnny Smile is literally the only black one, I should say. A lot of them are other minority races. Anyways, just the fact that they make Americans look more worse than we already do, I would do something. I would put my hands on Johnny Smile. He ain't safe, or any streamer that's like him. We don't play those games. You don't mess with the innocence of people living their normal lives for content. All
And
right.
I mean, they don't understand. Respect the laws and respect other people.
Can I have some context? Because I truthfully have no idea what on earth you two are talking
So
about.
Johnny
right
Somali
now.
is
Sorry.
Johnny Somali is a Somalian American-born live streamer who specifically goes to different countries and acts a nuisance. So it first
Oh.
started him off with going to like
That's
Israel,
horrible.
not
He started
Pakistan.
going to Israel. That's a place to
He went to
start.
Israel
No,
before
no,
the
no,
war.
no.
He
He
went
started
to
Japan.
Israel before the war and the genocide.
Okay. All right. I was about to say,
Um,
holy cow, that guy's just pushing me off.
But he went
From
to
the start.
Israel and started like getting into people's faces and calling them slurs and like pouring drinks and taking people's drinks or like putting fish in people's faces. He does that in Korea and Japan as well. But he would go to he
Wow.
got kicked. He got arrested and kicked out of Israel. Then after Israel, he went to one more country that I can't remember. Then after getting kicked out of that other country, he went to Japan and he would Japan and South Korea both have these statues that are for because we all know sadly in the wars Japan did a lot of sexual assault to a lot of women sadly, so there's these
There's
memorial respect statues that are both in Japan and South Korea, and Johnny Somali went to all those statues and started touching and kissing them.
God. Can I end the stream? Then we can talk after.
Sure.
Yeah. Wow. I'm learning.
Yeah, you'll learn more after the stream. If anyone else wants to, comment down below, and then me and Jake have like a serious like non-sports type of video because the season's ending. Well,
like and subscribe. Keep the stream going.
Yeah, like and subscribe. I'm sorry this turned into something else. I promise I'll focus on wrestling next week on Monday.
This has been a basketball stick-up. You've all been held hostage.
Yeah, sorry, but that means y'all better come in and watch Jay next week, all right?
Yeah, you better have good opinions about the Iron Sheik coming in next week, chatters.
Okay, yeah. But I just want to say that we lost a great wrestler today. He died at the age of 60. So, and the wrestler's name was Sabu.
Oh, Sabu died? Damn.
Yeah, he was a great wrestler. He started in ECW. So, yeah. But, guys, I'm really sorry about today. I was 30 minutes late. Also, I was at Costco with my family, so I was 30 minutes late. But next Monday, I promise I'm not going to be late, and we are going to talk about wrestling next week. Even if I have guests. So, I'm really sorry about tonight, guys. So,
I think Taterhead enjoyed it. So, hey, we got, as long as you get one, right? That's most
yeah, true. So,
we learned Taterhead is a big basketball fan. That's what we learned.
Yeah, so like I say, guys, like I always say, stay safe, stay positive, and I'll see you next week on Monday. And I hope you guys have a great week. All right, you have a good one, and bye-bye.